For this project, I chose to present Hearst Castle. I have lived on the Central Coast my whole life, and have always known and heard Hearst Castle was there. It was never really that significant to me until I went to see this mansion a few months ago. Right away, I was blown away by the amount of detail put into every little piece of this castle, not to mention the sheer size of it. The castle covers 68,500 feet. It contains 115 rooms, including 38 bedrooms, more than 40 bathrooms, a theater, and a beauty salon. Outside, there is 127 acres of gardens and terraces. Hearst Castle was designed in the Mediterranean Revival style, made to represent Spanish cathedral. The Mediterranean Revival style was popular in the United States in the 1920s and 1930s. Eclecticism is the main characteristic of this style, meaning selecting elements of multiple styles to capture the desired aesthetic. Typically, they would mix old styles with modern tastes. On the left, you can see the Broadmoor Hotel of Colorado, another example of Mediterranean Revival style. In 1865, George Hearst purchased 40,000 acres of ranch land. William Randolph Hearst inherited this land from his mother, Phoebe Hearst. He eventually expanded it to 250,000 acres. William was an American businessman, politician, and newspaper publisher who built the nation's largest newspaper chain and media company, named Hearst Communications. Throughout his life, Hearst had always dreamed of a mansion similar to those he had seen on the European tours he went on as a boy. Hearst Castle became a realization of his dream with the help of architect Julia Morgan, who collaborated with him for 28 years to construct a castle worthy of those he had seen in Europe. In 1947, Hearst had to leave San Simeon Estate to receive medical care unavailable in the remote location. The castle was never completely finished, but it does stand as a remarkable achievement and vision of one man's goals. Julia Morgan was the architect behind this castle and was hired by William Randolph Hearst originally to build a guest house for the castle and a main building. Julia graduated from the University of California at Berkeley with a degree in civil engineering. She was also the first woman to receive a certificate in architecture. Mr. Hearst instructed her to build, quote, something that would be more comfortable, end quote, than the platform tents they were originally using. Morgan's classical training in Paris and her background in engineering suited her well for the project. Julia used California vernacular with elements that were characteristic of the arts and craft movement. The movement from 1880 to 1920 began in Britain and flourished in Europe and North America. Most of her work would include horizontal lines that blended with the landscape, support beams exposed, shingles, and California redwood tones. Julia was hired in 1919 by Mr. Hearst and continually worked on the project for 28 years. In 1950, Julia retired. Outside of the castle, you can see, on the right, Neptune Pool. Neptune Pool is 104 feet long and holds 345,000 gallons of water. On the left is a little bit of the gardens that are outside. There are 127 acres of gardens and terraces. On the inside, there's another pool. On the left, this is the Roman pool. It was styled after ancient Roman baths, which is shown on the right. Roman baths were a common feature in Roman cities throughout the empire. The huge bath would include a variety of rooms containing swimming pools, places to relax, read, and socialize. Roman baths were also important in the evolution of architecture, having the first dome structures in classical architecture. The zoo. Hearst loved animals and wanted the zoo to entertain his guests. In the front fields, you would have been able to see animals ranging from antelope, zebras, camels, deer from India, Europe, and Asia, llamas, kangaroos, emus, bighorn sheep, and oxen. He had additional animals in the back, held in the menagerie cages, like various types of bears, lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, cougars, chimpanzees, and even elephants. In 1937, Hearst experienced some financial difficulty and was forced to restrict construction. Many but not all animals were donated to the public zoo or sold. If you go there today, you will still be able to see zebras roaming the side of the hills. That's all for my presentation. I hope you learned a little bit more about the castle on the hill so close to home. Thank you.